So, welcome. This is,
Related opposition.
we are siblings, grew up in the same family, obviously, because we're siblings. uh, while the family is a very conservative family for the most part, you stayed conservative. I veered away from that worldview, whatever you want to
Yes.
call it. But we have managed to retain a healthy dialogue, I think, is the way to put it. Um, Something we don't see very often, and we always felt I always felt very proud of our conversations that we would be able to talk about politics and religion and things that we disagree on.
Quite differently.
Yeah, very often, but still never with an attacking motive. It's usually with a motive of understanding the other side rather than attacking it. And we always liked that. And we joked about doing a podcast, but we neither of us had the technical know-how to do it.
Correct.
And so that detoured us from doing it. But then recent events, we live in Minnesota. And after Renee Good was shot and killed in an ICE situation, uh, we we just both kind of got this feeling. I texted you.
Yep. I'd already kind of had a thought about it, but I kind of put it aside, like, oh, again, the technology side of it. But then when he texted me, we thought, well, we need to discuss this.
Yeah, it was just this weird feeling I had, like, because, like, from my perspective, I mean, the all of the protests and stuff were already starting well before that, and I mean, that was kind of an outcome of it. I am not a protester. I'm a cold baby, and it's winter, but I wanted to do something. I wanted to feel like I was saying something, doing something, participating in some way. And I don't like the way I feel like the media in general is all the sides that we're on. And we, by the way, hate calling them sides. We hate claiming the side because I don't like speaking for all liberal-minded people because everybody's different, whatever. And so I can't speak for everybody. And I know that she doesn't represent everybody on the right. On the other hand, it is the easiest way to describe it sometimes.
So we do fall into, we do the quotation marks, my side,
your side. And so, yeah.
We didn't like how divided it was just so antagonistic.
I feel like everybody's everybody's trying to other the other side and separate from the other side rather than come together and figure out where we can agree. And sometimes I feel, stop things.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's why we thought, well, we have a unique situation growing up in the same household, coming apart worldview-wise, but yet having a respectful dialogue without getting too emotional, right?
I feel that is one of our strengths.
So I kind of feel like the goal of this podcast is just to be an example, and hopefully others can maybe learn that you can talk to someone that you disagree with, and maybe you still don't agree, but you can still respect the person at the end. Maybe that's kind of
I think that's safe. I mean, like, with that said, if you're here for gotchas, if you're here for a debate, you are going to hear debate. There is a debatey aspect, but it's not about winning the conversation.
Yeah.
And neither of us, both of us are terrified of our own sides being mad at us for not saying all the things that we should say to win the debate of our side.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is like, I actually think, usually from our conversations in the past, I have come away from them realizing just how different the silos of news and stuff is. And I just go like, how does she not know about this? And how do I know about that? And it makes me worry about, like, is her side sheltering her from the things that I've seen, or is my side accentuating things that aren't there and stuff like that. And so I do want to try to be able to look at it and learn from it and realize that where my faults are, and it's not, I'm not always right and stuff like that.
Same for me.
So,
with that said, because the whole ICE and all that it entailed has been kind of the instigator for us going ahead with trying to attempt a podcast. We were going to do 4 topics.
Yes.
Sorry, 2 political, 2 religious, but our first topic will be ICE because it is what started this
the whole thing.
Is current. And then
because we talked about this after Renee Good was killed, and since then Alex Peretti's been killed, and we have differences on the first one, but we're a little closer on the second, I think, but we'll find that out.
We'll find out. Yes.
But so we'll regularly remind you that this is and last thing, this is very raw.
Yes.
We are not technologically knowledgeable with stuff like that, so we're just giving this a go. We're hoping that you see the content for the value that's there. If you like it, let us know. And right now, we're only planning on doing these 4 topics first. If you find value in it, we will keep going, and we will try to improve and get better and learn how to make it better. But for right now, this is it. This is very raw, very little editing. You might see, if you see any edits, it's only to get rid of dead space or something like that. We don't want to eliminate any content and make one side sound better than another or like that. If there's any kind of edits, they'll be raw of themselves. But so, with that said, I think we've covered everything. And if we missed anything, we might say it within the topic. But
all right. So ICE.
ICE. Do you want to start with Renee Good, or do you want to start more recent, or do you want to go even earlier?
I guess a big question would be, do you think we should have ICE? I mean, do you think it's a legitimate... What are your thoughts on just ICE in general?
ICE in general, my opinion on them is they weren't the problem that they are now. And so before, I think, yes, we do need proper immigration dealings, enforcement. There we go. Sorry. While I personally, completely personally, I consider myself a globalist. I'm more about humanity than nations. And I would love it if we just all didn't have borders and we didn't have such divides. I understand the reality of the world we live in and that there are nations, and with nations comes differences of cultures and stuff like that. And so all of these, it's just a tangled web of stuff, and thus we need enforcement of immigration and stuff like that. And so I do recognize the need for it, but my issue with ICE right now is something is different. I think we can agree on that.
Yes and no. I struggle with that because I don't know that anything is different. I feel what's different is, this is where we're going to disagree, I'm sure.
The people's reactions?
The politicians stoking agitation. Because there was ICE happening down in Texas and California, ICE had been there, and there had been some protests, but not to this level. But our politicians are almost promoting Minnesota specifically have been almost just the language, the Gestapo. They're so.
But they were using that language before for the other ones, and the whole fascist comments about this administration started long before
they did. But I
would argue that the ICE is one of the evidences of that. Like some of the way that they're acting now is very Gestapo-ish.
And that's where I feel like, oh, this is so hard. I don't trust what I'm seeing because I've found that I get told one story and then a day later I'm finding out more of the story which the initial story sounds horrible, but then I get more of the story and I'm like, well, that's not as bad. I mean, like the 5-year-old child being taken by ICE to be bait for the illegal immigrant. The next day you find out, well, they were trying to arrest him and he ran away, and the child, what are you going to do? You can't just leave the child outside. And they tried to bring the child to the mom. Yes, granted, the mom's probably scared that ICE is going to take her, but they assured her that they weren't. And she didn't take him. So what are they supposed to do? Leave the child alone? But again, that's the thing where the first day it sounds horrible. But the next day, as you get more information, so I go, these stories of people just being randomly rounded up, I go, were they random though? I don't, unless I see it with my own eyes, I have trouble believing it. And so I'm stuck.
My question to that would be, I mean, do you think the reaction of the people, these huge protests, they're massive, yes?
Yeah.
Do you think that's just because these people got stoked up by the politicians, or because they're reacting to imminent threats that they're perceiving? Where because we're out here in Minnetonka and Bloomington, a little separated away from the action, so to speak. They are witnessing it, and I look at that as evidence of going like, all right, I'm something more is happening than what I'm witnessing, and I do feel there's absolutely an element of people can get stoked up by the media and, you know, take something too far, but at the same time I think there's enough there that these people are reacting for a reason, and it makes me take that aspect a bit more seriously of something going on. You're absolutely right, because I completely agree with you that what you were saying was where you hear one story and then all of a sudden you find out more information about it, and you're like, oh, that's not as bad as what it was. Like the Renee Good thing. When the first video I saw was like, I kind of did I'm going to try to give the other side the benefit of the doubt and go like, she's being in the way and she's doing something. Later videos confirmed that. I think that she was being in the way and she was doing wrong in the sense of impeding, and her wife was being very aggressive with the officer. Um, and so I go like, all right, yeah, that was probably instigated heightened the emotions of the situation or whatever. I still argue for that situation, death is not the equivalent response of the situation. I will then on the flip side argue, I go like, all right, it's a moving vehicle. I can understand from his perspective, possibly seeing it as her coming at him. From the video, what I see from my perspective, I don't think she was trying to hit him. But then the flip side of that is you have the politicians who right away came out with the first thing that they said was that she was they made it sound like she was like driving into them and like, and I just like, that's not what I saw.
I think that whole situation is a tragedy of like it could have stopped so much earlier. Like I feel this whole thing's been a snowball that just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and that's what I find so frustrating, because I'm like, I 100% believe if you see wrong, you have the right to protest. But some of the protests I've seen have, I mean, talk about Gestapo. I've seen these people like tripping people and mocking them, and then I hear online these nurses saying, give the ICE a paralytic drug, and like, so I mean, like,
I've never heard that.
That sounds more Gestapo to me than what ICE is trying to do. And I don't say ICE is perfect. I think like there's going to be bad apples in the bunch. So has ICE handled this whole thing perfectly? I'm not going there. No. That's why I'm like, have they pulled over people unjustly? I mean, yeah, I'm sure there is that. But overall, their goal is to get the criminals, and people I don't understand. Like, just even watching video clips with all that noise, like, that's like torture. And they're trying to do their job to get these criminals off the street. And you got people honking and whistling and yelling and swearing at you. Protests for me might be, okay, I'm going to stand on the side with a sign, let you know I don't like it, but I'm not going to try to, because how do I know that that person you're arresting isn't a child molester that you have information on that maybe the average person on the street doesn't have information on? So I don't know. To me, from my perspective, the protesters, I get the protesting right, but I feel like they crossed the line in many instances. And but then it's a snowball effect, like the Renee Good. Like, I mean, they are a type of law enforcement and they're telling you, get out of the car. You don't get out of the car. Like her intentions, we don't legally, like her intentions might have been to drive away, but the officer doesn't know that. He doesn't have a relationship with her. So he's in this situation, has to make a split-second decision, and this moving vehicle is coming at him. So I don't know. I give him the benefit of the doubt in that situation. Now, Alex Preddy, we can talk about later. But
I think
so I go, did he want to shoot someone? I doubt it. Like, now I know you're going to say, well, he swore at her afterwards.
Actually, what I'll
adrenaline's running. If his mind thought is someone tried to run me over, I think that might just slip out.
I have a couple things I can say. First, on a more general scale, one of the things I don't like about ICE is the sudden push to get more ICE agents out there in Minnesota or just in general. The what I have heard from my side is the training is not, they're not getting the full amount of training that the original ICE people were getting, because they wanted to get them out in the field faster, quicker, sooner. People would be failing tests. They'd be failing drug tests. They'd be failing all kinds of tests that should exclude them from being it, but they're still pushing them out there. And I feel like there's that we've been like, that's what I'm saying. Like, ICE at one time wasn't so bad, but now it's been flooded with a lot more people. And like, you have the guys that are like, there's the video of the guys saying like Call of Duty. I'm like, no, it is not like Call of Duty. This is not a video game. But that's where I also think, when I watched the videos of Renee Good being killed, and then we'll get to Alex Preddy, but that the way they're shooting is very video game. It's not. I'll get into the second point now. The one of the things that bothered me was not so much him calling her the effing bitch after. It's he had his own cell phone that he was recording. That's where we heard that from. And he was at first recording it with his good hand when he got to the wife, and she told him, "Why don't you go get some lunch, big boy?" And it was just after that he switched hands to recording with his left hand, so he could already have his hand on his gun before. It was just after that, as he was walking around to the front of the car, and that felt like intent to me. And that's that is something that's going around, and whatever. Maybe it can be disproven, and it's people reading into it what they want, but that's something that's been seen. And yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I still, and then the training. So these guys are pushed out there with not the full training, as I understand it. And again, these are the things that I have mixed things on, like, where I'm going, well, I hear this, but I don't know if I can believe it or not. The guy telling her to get out of the car. I've heard both arguments, that their law enforcement, if the law enforcement tells you to get out of the car, you have to get out of the car. But then I've also heard, no, not with ICE. ICE, you don't have to obey those specific orders. They don't have the same authority as like a police officer. If a police officer told you to get out of the car, then you have to. And that's where I sort of go, like, I haven't done the proper research to definitively say one way or another, but I've heard both. And I go, well, what is that? Which one is it? Because I do know that, I mean, ICE is a different thing than police. They're not the same.
but they are a federal form of law enforcement. So I go, I don't know.
Law enforcement or
I mean, it's immigration custom
like,
enforcement, right? Like,
because
so
like it bothers me that we got flooded with so many of them because of a fraud situation that was the justification for sending more of them here. And I go, what does this have to do with fraud? I understand that it's the Somali community that got kind of accused of this. Meanwhile, all the people that get arrested are white people,
uh,
aren't they?
for the Somali fraud
For a lot of the Somali fraud situation,
there was like, I think 10% white and the rest were Somali.
all see, I could be wrong.
I mean, and my fact couldn't be off skewed, but it was definitely minority white, majority Somali, which is why people are putting it on the Somali community.
I knew it had to do with the Somali community, and so, but like and this is a perfect example where I don't know what to trust. I go, am I being fed that from my side to make it look better or make it look worse with this, or have you been sheltered?
Yeah.
And that bothers me.
And I've been...
And right now, this is what I'm hearing people screaming at, like, it's this!
Right.
Don't you know?
Why don't you know?
But
in regards to the training, from my side, I've been told they haven't been trained like our police officers in how to deal with the crowd, because there's been so many protesting crowds that has been handled poorly.
And I understand how their emotions can be running high when you have people swearing at you, spitting at you, yelling at you constantly. At the same time, I just go, that's sort of what you signed up for. If you're gonna be, they're reacting to what you're doing. Yeah,
but I also go, they're human. I keep wanting to bring back that they are human, and I went through a police community. The police offered a chance for the community to get to know what they do, and it opened my eyes a little bit that things aren't so black and white, and they are trained and they are doing the best they can, but they also are human. And if I had someone yelling in my ear while trying to do my job, I can try to keep my cool, but eventually I feel like the protests want you to snap. Then you got your photo op, and then it's that snowball. I just feel like everything's the snowball. I had another point. Now this is where my brain's going to freeze, and then I lock up. My thing, in effect of causation. If we just worked, if law enforcement could work with ICE, I don't know if you've heard this.
I have heard this, but this is another one of those places where
it's a bubble thing.
I've heard both sides of it, because I've heard Minnesota won't work with ICE. They release all of their criminals onto the street and just let them go. They won't do this thing. But then I've also heard no, they have an agreement with them where it's like, yeah, you have this person who's committed crimes. They're living out their sentence, whatever the terminology for it is, and then once they're done, they're released into ICE custody and sent off. And I'm like, well, which is it? Like, because I can understand that. Like, yeah, if you're not cooperating, but then I've heard that it's like, well, no, it's like they're trying to cooperate, but the Republican conservative side, whatever you want to call it, wants it a specific way, and the Minnesota people are kind of saying, well, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to, we want to meet in the middle, and they're saying, well, no, it's either this way or no way, and they're like, well, then it's no way, and then their response, see, they're not working with us, and it's kind of the kind of an angle I've heard on it. But again, I can't. It's like that, and that's the other thing that drives me crazy. Not just ICE, everything. It feels like there's so many topics being flooded at us so often. I can't keep up with all of them and be an expert on each one. And to sit there and go like, well, I'm going to study up about this one so I know I can speak intelligently about it. It feels daunting because I feel like I'm then rejecting something else that I should know about. And it's just, and sometimes I feel like that's part of the plan, so to speak, of keep them constantly spinning and stuff like that. And that's an element I only see from this particular administration, where it's just like, it's just, I wake up and there's always something new, some new outrageous tweet or something like that, or a murder. It's like,
Yeah. I don't like how either side have handled the situations coming out with their side's position. Like,
before even knowing the facts.
was it Kristi Noem who called Renee Good a domestic terrorist?
Mm-hmm.
While saying, it's just, leadership to me would be,
we're going to find out.
We need to take a breath. We need to investigate, because
Mm-hmm.
again, you don't know everything from just one video. You got to look at the other videos. You got to get eyewitness. You got to get, like, there's so much more to investigate. Videos help, but they're not everything. And the leaders should be mature enough to say, everybody take a breath. We want to get to the real answer, and both sides need to do that. Not just, I feel like both sides have been in error on that.
Would you agree? I tend to agree in concept, but I don't want to be accused of Trump derangement syndrome. But I feel that his current administration, I have very strong issues with, and I just go, they're ones I feel lied to, even if I don't have proof always. So it is a guttural, emotional response, I admit. But the facts just, or not the fact, but as I learn stuff, they tend to reaffirm my beliefs as I go. And so, example, Renee Good. Yes, I agree. The Minnesota people did come out right away and made the claim this was an attack on her. She was murdered in the streets and whatever. And they said that before they should have. I agree with that. And then Kristi Noem, called her a domestic terrorist right away. While I don't think either side should have said that right away, I do still, to this day, lean closer to the Minnesota. Like, I feel like their lie was bigger than the misinformation on the other side, on the Minnesota people's side.
But if they were true leaders and didn't even go there,
I agree. But
then you wouldn't have any lies.
Sorry, and
right?
that took. I derailed myself, and
Okay.
What you said is bringing me back. Was, what do you do when the other side is not cooperating with you? Like the Minnesota, like I feel like they're officially pitted against each other now, and it's just like I don't feel like if Walz had called Kristi Noem and said, let's talk this through before doing that, I don't think she would have listened. Because, like, skipping ahead to Alex Peretti a little bit, she did the same thing with him, and I think you agree with that one a bit more.
Well, that one bugged me because that was the first time that I did feel lied to.
Yeah,
and I don't. No.
Yeah.
I want the truth. So when they were saying he came at him with the gun, I'm like, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
Now,
here, but
go ahead.
Let me finish one thing with that. So your perspective was like, no, that's that information, like whatever part of it, at least that him coming at him with the gun was just wrong. I mean, it was just a flat out lie. And I go, she had to have seen the video, that same video, if not more video first, before I did.
Yeah.
And to come out and to go out there and lie so
boldly,
brazenly about it. And that's the thing, is when I listen to what you could argue are the lies of the Minnesota people, they're not as much lies, they're just outrage. Like, what? They're mad that their people just got killed, and because these ICE people are here, which we already generally don't like, because we're already pitted against them. So I get it that it can be heated.
I like them being here. I want them to get the criminals off. So I hate being lumped into this thing of get out of our state. Well, no, I want them here and get the bad guys. So
I would argue and I think part of the people's issue, the people that are saying that they want them out, is the what we were told was we're here for the criminals. but they're not going after the criminals. They're going after, and I'm not saying that no criminals are getting taken. Yeah, get the criminals, and I don't think anyone would really argue with getting the criminals out. But like the Stephen Miller rant that we talked about this. I don't know if you believe this part of it. I know that you don't. You're not a fan of Stephen Miller. But like have you heard about him saying to the ICE people, to the higher ups, like, what are they doing going after the criminals? Go to the 7-Elevens, go to Home Depots. That's where you need to be going. And it's from my perspective, coded language for get the brown ones. That's where it feels a lot more just targeted at anybody who's not white. And I just go, it's not about the criminals. If I can't remember who it was, some other podcaster or somebody just made the argument. If it's really about the criminals, show us, prove it, show us the list of accomplishments.
Which I feel they have.
They've done some, but I don't feel that they've done enough to prove that it is all about the criminals. Personally,
sure.
But once again, maybe I'm sheltered, and it's to make them look worse than they are. And I do think that my side has to do that on some level. So I'm not claiming my side's better than the other. At the same time, just part of my journey with politics, I was raised in the same household. I was raised Republican and stuff like that. And I don't by any means consider myself a Democrat or whatever. I'm definitely more liberal minded. And part of that has come from as I started thinking, less being raised in it and thinking for myself, just going, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. And I got further and further away. And so now I do lump myself with liberals, leftists, whatever, but I'm certain there are things I disagree with on that side. And I also do think that both sides' extremism is not doing anybody any favors.
No.
Which does bother me. I also tend to think that the conservative Republican-ish side they do more egregious things that I think are like, I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but evil, or doing bad things that I'm like, that's wrong. And like, I don't want to get into this right now because it's a whole other subject. But sure, if we do more, we'll talk about Trump himself. But some of the things that he does and his administration does is just, I find to be really, I think they're, and I want to recognize their humanity and that they're real, that they're people, like that everybody's people, and we're all doing the best we can. But there are people that do bad things, and they're doing some bad things, in my opinion.
As much trouble as you have with Trump, I have with Walz and people like Ilhan Omar and stuff. But
do you think they're doing bad things? Are they evil, or are they like?
I don't know about. Yeah, I think they're doing bad things. I mean, but we don't want. I want to focus on.
We should keep on track.
So here's my next question, though, that I was curious about from current events. For myself, when I heard that Trump called Walz and Fry, and he's sending Tom Homan, and that I always get the guy's name mixed up. Greg Bovino.
The little Nazi guy.
See, I don't like that language, but
he's dressing for the job he wants.
Oh, anyway. So that they were sending him out, I go, that was a breath of fresh air for me. Because it sounded like both sides were talking, not tweet, talking. Let's work. Obviously, this is not good. Let's come to some compromise here to make things right for so that nobody else gets killed and that things are done right. And Tom Homan, to me, from what I've seen of him, I respect him. I think he's got integrity, and I'm not solidly behind Greg Bovino. I don't know. I have not researched him enough. There were some things I saw of him that I'm like. I
saw jokes about him, like he's like a new character in the Trump cinematic universe. I think Jon Stewart said, And he did sort of come. I'd never heard of him until he was here, and so
I saw him
personally
being interviewed by a state representative, like not interviewed. She just came up to him and started randomly questioning him, but she couldn't hold her own, and he was just calm, cool, and collected, and just answered. And
I will say, whenever I've seen him talk, he's never seemed like irrational and angry and whatever. But I also think that's not necessarily. Sometimes that can be kind of scarier if they're doing things that are whatever.
Anyway, so bottom line, I don't quite. Did he mislead his guys to get more aggressive? I don't know. That could be argued.
Like, how do you feel about them?
What is your take on the phone call, Tom Homan, and now how we're moving forward? What are your thoughts?
I don't know the guy that was sent in replacement. I don't know enough about him to be able to speak intelligently about him. I've heard of him. I know of him, but I can't say. I can't say yes. I think he has integrity, or no. I think he has no integrity. The way I could, like with Trump or something like that.
Okay.
What?
Well, I was just going to give you a little background. He worked under like multiple presidents from different sides, and Obama gave him like a medal of something, and he was the ICE guy for Obama. Like, so I'm saying
that gives me
some
hope.
point in time,
that gives me hope.
He was enough that both sides liked him.
So, how do you feel about ICE being told basically they have is immunity the word they used? I don't think immunity was the word that they used. I don't want there to be too much dead space here, but they told that you're able to do whatever you want. Basically, was kind of the. I'm summarizing too much. I don't want to mischaracterize.
Just from what you said, I'm a little.
You're skeptical of that, okay?
Because I'm like,
I don't want to say more because I'm clearly not informed enough to be able to say it. But that is some of the stuff that I've heard was that was part of.
I would go. That feels.
You're dubious.
I would need more proof on that one to say I would.
What if you heard them say it? What if you actually saw like?
I would need to make sure it's not just a clip and that I get the whole context, because I feel like sometimes things also get misconstrued by just taking a little bite of a bigger
I do agree
picture.
with that. I think that is definitely a both sides thing.
Yeah.
That it baffles me where like people will see things on one side and be like, "How did you not?" And then at the same time, you have people watching the full videos of Renee Good and Alex Preddy and still arguing over what. I'm just like, sometimes I go like, well, maybe we don't have any hope. But
yeah, here's something that you might find interesting. Because the Alex Preddy thing happened, and I did not like being lied to. Mm-hmm. Now, then like a week later, something came out about another video where he like kicked the
I've seen it.
car, and everybody kind of, I don't know if it's per se from my side. It almost seems like from both sides, we're like, okay, well maybe he's not the perfect angel.
He's not that.
And they had this clip with Elizabeth Warren talking about how wonderful he is and such a sweet soul, and it's like, and he might be at his job and with his family, but but he was being illegal. He did an illegal action there, and he was definitely angry, and we all get angry.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't say whatever happened then means he should be shot here. So I think agree on that, right?
Because that goes into scary territory of like, I'm like going, if they're using that, if the other side were to use that evidence as like, see these things that he did, and that's why he got shot. I'm like going, so we're saying it's premeditated that he was killed, that they took him out because he was being a nuisance.
No,
I'm like, that's the way it's come off a couple times. Like, is that what you're saying? I don't think.
Yeah, no.
People were trying to say that, but you're kind of like you're treading into that territory if you're going to make that argument.
I was impressed. I think I saw that clip was on CNN, which some people on, let me do this my side, were saying that the liberal media is not showing that side of him, and I'm like, well, no, they did.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and I will say, I think when someone is murdered or killed, whatever you want, the argument of the motives and whatever, but when something like that happens, the person gets sainted a little bit too much, in my opinion.
Yeah. I thought,
like, nobody is perfect. And so like this, but I felt like the same thing happened with Charlie Kirk after he got killed. I thought that was horrific and it should never have happened. I mourn his death. I didn't like him as a person. So I'm not going to, so wait, what did I just say? I didn't mourn his death, but I didn't celebrate it either.
Mm.
But I didn't think he should die. I didn't think that, there was no whatever. But I felt like suddenly he got this weird elevation of like, oh, he's this darling angel. I'm like, no, 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 no. And I think that's what a lot of people reacted to, where they started fighting over this. I don't know. I don't want to turn this into a Charlie Kirk topic.
That could be another topic.
Yeah. But I felt like it was the elevation of him that started to kind of get more people on my side to react and go, no, no, no. You do know what some of the things he said, right? And like he wasn't this amazing angel that you say he is. He was, I'm not saying he should have died and should have whatever. And the same thing happened with Renee Good, I felt, where all of a sudden she turned into this godly mother of three and poet who did nothing wrong. And it's just like, she was human. And I think that she was being in the way in a way that she participated in the act that led up to her death. I don't think.
Yeah. I know.
And which I don't know if I finished the statement or not. Oh. So if I'm looping and saying something over again, but to loop back to, I had talked about like the ICE agents' trainings. They're not trained like cops, but another thing that if I understand correctly, police are trained not to shoot somebody in a moving car. That's because if you shoot someone, more likely their foot's going to go on the gas, and you're putting yourself in more danger. So the better thing to do is to actually just let them get away rather than create danger. And that again, I get that emotions can flare. Like if you have a car coming at you, it could be a reaction. But the idea that he shot once and then the second two shots were from the side, I don't know. Anyway, we don't need to loop too much. But that was I think I did leave that aspect out last time when I was talking about that.
And just for the record, as far as the Alex Preddy one, like I feel like I can find both are tragic. I feel like legally I could find the officer who shot Renee Good fearing his life. Obviously we disagree, but I feel there's more evidence that could support that. But if I'd have to be a jury seeing everything, of course. I'm seeing what I've been fed.
And I think there's enough there that is an arguable case. I don't personally think it.
Right.
But I understand it.
Sure. The Alex Preddy one I have a little more trouble with. Now, I've heard different theories, and some of those theories I go, well, in that case, I don't know if you've heard this in your bubble.
What have you heard?
The guy that you saw, the agent took his gun away, and then his arm kind of flared, and people say it's because that gun went off, discharged accidentally. Just go with me here. Hang on. Which, if it did, and they already thought there was a gun, maybe they didn't see that guy take it, and they think he's shooting at them. In the chaos, we're not in the middle of the chaos, then they shoot him.
I get it. It was chaotic.
Yeah, but because they did say this model of gun he had is actually known for discharging. There's a fault, and they fixed it. So now, again, if I'd have to be a jury and hear all this evidence, I'm like, if that's the case, I'd give a little bit more. Okay, but from my eyes, the stuff I've seen at this point, I'm like, this one looks like a bad, not justified. I would say I would have a hard time justifying the officer's reaction in this one. So
I'll let you finish.
So the Renee one, I give the officer from the knowledge I've been provided, I would give the officer say it was both situations tragic. Both situations could have been stopped earlier, but that being said, legally, feel like he could say he was in threat of his life, and that's his reaction, which is legal. The other one I have a harder time with. There you go.
I have two things.
Okay.
First thing, before I forget, because with Alex Preddy, you felt lied to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, did that, and I haven't asked this question yet. This is definitely new stuff.
Sure.
New territory. That feeling of being lied to, did it make you look at the Renee Good one differently at all?
Not the Renee Good one.
You still felt this, you felt the same, all the same kind of.
Yeah, I think it's more because of what I was, from my class I took with the police thing, and seeing like that one. I get that one situationally.
That's fair. I was just curious if it did have any effect.
It did make me question one other thing that I can't remember right now. If it comes up, I'll let you know. But it did make me. But then I go, okay, so that's why I'm happy. In my mind, Trump did a. Now, Trump is not perfect. Please believe me, everybody. I voted Republican for the most part. I'm a conservative. I voted for Trump. I am not mega all on board. He does everything wonderful. I worship the guy. That's not me.
And I will defend you. I don't think you're mega.
Yeah,
you are conservative, and I think that's why I believe you when you say that's why you voted that way. It wasn't a matter of being a MAGA and Trump can do no wrong. I know that you're not a fan of him as a person.
I do think he saw that things are getting out of control. He reached out, called Walz, called Fry. He's changing things up. So if things were done wrong, I hope that people get held accountable for them. So, I mean, if Kristi Noem isn't doing her job right, and if she did things and lied and whatever, then I hope she's held accountable. So I go, that's why I was relieved that a phone call happens. They didn't agree on everything they said, but sounds like they have a plan, and I'm hoping it will squelch things to the point of no more deaths, and let's get the criminals and let's move forward.
Yeah. I don't know if I need to say this because I felt like we kind of moved past it, but I do want to say my little piece about Alex Peretti. Even like I struggle with the part that upset me the second most, what the hog pile on him. It brought back memories of high school and stuff like that, of just like bullies. And it was just like, there were so many of them on him. And I understand one man resisting arrest or whatever can be quite an ordeal, and more people, whatever. I can acknowledge that, but it just looked more like the guy with the can beating him on. It was disturbing, and in a way, like, it wasn't detaining, it was assault. Is like, I'm like, I'm like going, I'm watching this is, and I've seen detaining a person resisting arrest. I've seen cops and stuff like that. Where I can acknowledge this is needed. This kind of force is needed. But the level of force that they put on him, and then which goes back to, and then the other part, they go over and push that lady over, and like, I could see it on it, that his instinct was to block in the way, and then the guy just right away starts spraying that can of mace in his face, and like he starts falling around with it, and they keep, that's the thing, they keep going like right in their face. I'm like, those things are meant to like be like, whatever, and they're like using it in these awful, brutal ways that I'm like going, that's not the way that's supposed to be. And then like I could see in the body language, Peretti, all he was trying to do was get that lady protected in that moment. You can argue about any other kind of him being whatever, but in that moment, all he was trying to do that, and they pulled him off of her into the situation where the gun happened. And so I'm like going, he should just never have even gotten in the situation where they were pulling the gun from him. And that's the only time that they could have seen the gun from any of the video footage.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing bothered me. And that is, I will admit, maybe I'm biased, but that's also how I read the Renee Good situation. The body languages of everybody, and just the way the car was going, I didn't feel there was any intent in her to cause harm. That said, because a car was involved, I do understand how the guy from his perspective could read it incorrectly. But at the same time, I still go, I don't know, the reaction shouldn't have been a gun, which, by the way, is one of our other topics. Is
Stay
guns.
tuned.
Yeah. So one of our 4 topics that we're going to talk about will be guns specifically.
Yes.
But yeah. So I don't know.
That's where, that I did kind of look into, like, I mean, you can be concealed carry, but from what I've heard is if you're concealed carry, you really should not get yourself involved anywhere near police. Like, you're supposed to stay, well, because these are people.
No, tell me more. I'm actually kind of curious about. I'm not saying that to gotcha or anything like that. My side has found great amusement in the argument about bringing the gun into it, because your side tends to.
Yeah, he can bring it there. He can stand and observe and maybe carry a sign. But if there's any like police near him, you don't get any act of aggression, because this is what could happen is you get in a tussle, they see a gun, they chaos, and then all of a sudden, I'm just saying that it opens the door for a misunderstanding of severe consequence. And so I just go, yes, you're legally allowed to do that. Is it the wise thing to get involved in a scuffle when you know you're concealed carry with law enforcement? No, but I get also it was a mishap of all of a sudden he saw the girl be pushed and he's getting in the way. But I go, well, what's the before story? Because I saw they were down the street in a different video and they were being antagonistic. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, what's the backstory behind the backstory behind,
Mm-hmm. I get it.
So it wasn't just a that moment situation, which again, I didn't like the guy pushing her like that. I think that was unnecessary at that moment, but
that's the brutality. That's, for me, that's an element of that brutality that I think that's a new element that wasn't there before. And it's a sign of many things. It's a sign of the poor training and the poor situation and the...
Or is it he's a human and he's been yelled and spit at and all you could hear all the horns and the whistles mm-hmm. for the past 2 hours trying to do a job, and that's his breaking point. Just saying. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yep, I understand, here. And my response to that is fine. But if the response to that is killing somebody,
no, I'm saying pushing that lady.
Oh, push it. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's still that's too far.
No, I'm not saying it's. That's why I'm saying it's a tragedy of like.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't be in law enforcement because of the danger and stuff like that. But I just go, that is the job you sign up for, and people in that kind of position with that kind of authority and power are expected to wield that kind of authority and power responsibly. They are, but
I just go, again, they are human, and there is a breaking point.
They are human,
and if you keep antagonizing them instead of just peacefully protesting, well, then
my problem is the peaceful protesting. I will say, I do think there's an element of actual rebellion happening. People are responding to. They are going further. It is more than peaceful protesting, because people. Just the sheer numbers, and that's not just the protests in Minnesota. There are huge protests that have been happening all over. A lot of people are upset with the way things are being run, and ICE being the particular pinpoint of it right now. But it's been over other things too. So, I was going to say, and I'm already forgetting now. With Renee Good, the guy. I wanted to make a point, but I'm going to have to let it go for the sake of not having just dead space of people listening to us. But yeah,
I do feel like.
What
should we? Do you have any more?
Are you feeling?
I'm feeling like we're coming to the end.
I agree.
And I do feel like I don't want it to drag on for too long because people might get bored.
No, I completely agree, and that's actually what it was like. One of the things that was keeping me from even going like maybe I shouldn't even dig through my memory to try to figure out what I want to say. Let's call it.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to call it.
Our
and here's the
next
thing.
topic will be guns.
Yep. We'll talk guns. And for what it's worth, though, we want to hear what you think. We want responses to this. Do you think there's value in this?
Was it helpful?
Was it helpful? Because
do you want to see more?
Do you want to see more? Because, like, again, should this be found valuable by people? We will make more. Right now, we're just doing the 4 to try it out. If there isn't anything
of value
there,
interest,
we'll just keep talking between
we'll
ourselves.
have our own copies and
whatever. But if people do find value in this, we'll keep going and we'll try to get better
production value,
quality and stuff like that. More camera angles and better sound stuff and whatnot. But so we do want to hear what people think.
And we are. I don't know if we touched on. So we did ice, guns, and then we're going to do 2 religious.
Yeah.
So Bible and hell.
Yeah.
Light topics.
Nice and breezy little, the simple things.
Yeah. With that being said, this is Related Opposition.
Yeah. Thank you for.
Did we say our names?
We didn't say our names.
I'm Kirsten.
And I'm Keith.
We'll do better next time.
Yeah, we will. So,
bye.
Thank you.